welcome back. In my previous video, I briefly went over the 5 steps of building your own moving projects. Today, I'll be talking about the first step in detail, how to brainstorm a moving project idea. Yeah, I know this sounds boring, but it's important. Without an idea or something to build, you can't even start at all. Now, there are tons of brainstorming techniques online. I'm just going to cover what worked for me. If you want more, then Google has your back here. So, here is how I approach brainstorming when I want to build something. First, I ask myself these 2 questions. 1. What exists that can be made better? 2. What have I been inspired by? Then, I decide if the idea is possible or not based on these 2 factors. 1. What is my budget? 2. What is my deadline? If an idea makes it past all of this, then I will consider building it. So, let's go into detail on the process. 1. What exists that can be made better? Throughout your life, you will most likely run into problems. Most of these problems have solutions already that someone else came up with, but some of these solutions can be improved. If you can find the right solution to improve, then there is a lot of money waiting for you. You know, I asked this question just because of this. Too bad I haven't found anything yet. Sadness. 2. What have I been inspired by? Inspiration, I find, is a great source of ideas. Your inspiration might be different, but for me, most of my projects are from media. Movies, TV shows, books, you name it. I find that media has lots of inspiration, and therefore great build ideas. Though, some are not quite possible, but parts of those ideas can be. Ever heard of Star Wars? The way lightsabers work isn't quite possible, but that didn't stop people from building replicas. Also, in some circles, a well-made, realistic, moving movie replica will fetch a lot of money. These questions are where I get my build ideas. Then, I judge the idea with these follow-up questions. 1. What is my budget? Ever hear the quote, money makes the world go round? It's true, doing anything costs money, from eating out, having fun, or just plain building stuff. Therefore, not having enough budgeted means you'll be limited in some ways. How much is enough? That is project specific, but honestly, you really don't need much. But keep in mind the more impressive moving projects are really costly. 2. What's my deadline? Sometimes I go to events to show off my projects. That event is my deadline. This is important because not properly budgeting your time is a disaster waiting to happen. I speak from experience. You really don't want to be up at 4 AM finishing your project when the event starts at 9 that morning. So, how do you allocate your time? Personally, I like to have a calendar and put build times into it. It also really depends on your project, but generally the more complex your project is, the more time it is going to take. With experience, you'll get better at judging these things, but for beginners, I really suggest not having a deadline. If I have enough money and time for the idea, then the idea is possible and I write it down. Sometimes I have multiple ideas make it past the money and time check. Personal preference, or just what I feel like making, then decides which one gets built first. And that's how I decide what I build. Hopefully, this got you started on thinking and brainstorming your next idea. In my next video, I will tell you how to take your idea and process it, so you can eventually pick parts from it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Feel free to throw some suggestions too. Thanks!